God.
Are you excited for season 3?
No.
Okay.
It's lame. It's just boring. That's the thing. Like, forget the books. That's just a lame plot point. Why couldn't you make it interesting? It was lame. Why is he there? You got Matt. Let's go on to Matt. Matt sucked as well. But to be fair, Matt sucked in the books. So this was the one I was hoping for change. What?
I'm just letting you rant. I'm just gonna go off.
No one else around.
Nobody.
There's no white cloaks around that area. They're not fighting. They're just standing in a line waiting. And they see
One guy.
one vagabond walk out. And they go, charge! Like, why? Welcome everyone to Tutor Ramble. My name is Richard.
My name is Austin, and I think I hear an energy difference because you hated the show. I didn't like it at all. Now, Rich, I hear the melancholy. It's coming right through. I feel bad because I want the wheel time is your thing, and I want you to love it. And I don't like seeing you like as much as it looks to the public that I like your demise.
You like disliking Wheel of Time.
I just like
you
disliking,
take a little bit of pleasure out of it.
It's more so because it hurts you, okay?
Yeah.
But when I see you like this, it's just it hurts my tiny little heart. Just in the tiniest way. Okay, by the way, this video that we're doing here, it's a Wheel Time Season 2 review. What we're going to do, we're going to talk 3 things. First, we're going to talk Wheel Time Season 1, give brief thoughts on that since we haven't had a video, and just compare that to Season 2. Secondly, we're going to talk Wheel Time Season 2 episodes 1 through 7, which we thought were actually
very different.
Also good. Mm-hmm. But then where you see Rich's melancholy come is we have the odd opinion, and I feel a little crazy, Rich, that we'll get into specifics, but episode 8, the finale of Wheel Time Season 2, people loved it. You did not.
Yeah, I
notice what I did. You did not. I'm trying to target you. I also didn't like it. Like everybody hate on Rich. No, I totally agree with you. And we'll get into all the details. But Rich, how do you react to something like this, where Wheel of Time Season 2, Episode 8, the finale, has a 9.2 on IMDb right now, and the general populace seems to love the episode, and we are the odd ones out.
Here's the thing. I'm more confused than anything. I understand people maybe having low expectations for the show, and they just want to see their favorite characters on the screen, and it doesn't care that much about some details. Fine, fair enough. Or you want some cool action, something put on the background you want to watch your food with. Maybe you liked it, but loved it? Your favorite thing? That I don't understand. That's where my confusion comes in. It's not an anger. It's just confusion.
Because it seems like we're in some bubble here, where everybody seems to like it,
and yet
we don't like it. And I don't want to continue our infamous reputation at this point. I kind of do. I like it, but whenever you come to our channel, it's just we are more negative about things generally when it comes to shows. At times, I know we hated Kenobi.
Yeah,
we hated Rings of Power
for good reason.
We hated some movies like Black Adam. And by hate, it's a strong word because we really did. Now,
it is a strong word because, yeah, it is true.
But would you use the word hate when it comes to Wheel Time Season 2? Because I wouldn't say hate.
No, I was incredibly let down because I actually did like episodes 1 through 7.
Okay, then let's start the conversation here since we haven't talked Season 1. Was Season 2 an upgrade from Season 1 of Wheel Time?
Episodes 1 through 7? Most definitely. Season 1 had some serious flaws where I was actually hoping that the TV show would maybe improve on the books. There's some negative qualities from the books that could have been improved on. I was even fine with a lot of the changes. So I was thinking, like, most people were not down with Perrin having a wife in season 1.
By the way, we're going to get into spoilers for the shows and talk some book details, but there won't be spoilers past book 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you haven't watched the show anyways, like, feel free to just listen in and get the context there. I don't think it's a huge deal.
No.
But just wanted to let people know in case you wanted to click off there.
I was okay with that change as long as they did something interesting with it. There's a bunch of other things in that same vein of like, okay, hey, you're changing it. It's another turning of the wheel. It's not ripping the story from the page. It's its own thing, and I was fine with that. Just do something cool and interesting with your changes. And I feel like they just did not. They did not pay off any of the changes that they made.
This is interesting to have us two look at this, because I think most people that are listening probably agree with season 1, where they're going to make more disagrees when we talk season 2. But you love the Wheel Time books. I'm on the 3rd book now. So just based on, we've already reviewed on this channel books 1 and 2, and I don't like them.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not a fan yet. I assume, like, I'm hoping, and I think it will just get better and better.
Yeah.
I'm rooting. And now that I watched the show, I have a newfound appreciation for, maybe I should up those ratings, but this is interesting because we both looked at season 1, you as a Wheel Time fan, me as more of a casual, like, okay, I'm reading the books to talk about on the pod, and I'm curious to see what they are. We both didn't like it.
Yeah.
For different reasons, because I think I'm more lenient when it comes to the show adaptation with, it doesn't have to be as faithful for a viewer like me, since I'm not, when reading Lord of the Rings, all this stuff is gold. Put that on screen, right? With, I think generally Wheel of Time fans agree, there's some changes you can make that can improve it, especially in the early books that only I've read so far. Is that correct?
Definitely. At least I think so. So I don't think they need to be completely faithful. There's some like nuggets that probably need to be true. That one particular change from season 1, for example, that I think it's an ill-conceived change that they really should not have done for the sake of world building, was they made it so that the dragon could have been male or female. And so that was the whole question, who is the dragon reborn? It could be a woman, it could be a man. And that kind of breaks some of the tension from the world. Because I think an important factor of the world building is everyone knows the prophecies of the dragon would be reborn, and he would be reborn, of course, as a man, and men who can channel go mad. That is the fear. That's part of the fear of the dragon coming back, and he's going to go crazy. That's important. If the dragon comes back as a woman, she's not going to go crazy because the taint is not on.
That's how the one power works.
Well, for the show, so that's almost like tossing it at everyone just praying, like, please let the dragon be a woman. Please, for the love of God, let the dragon be a woman. And I think that really they didn't do anything with that at the show. So I think that was a fundamental change I didn't like. And there's plenty of others, but
I think the point we agree on, we'll get into season 2, but with season 1 especially, the changes they made were not just boring changes, but it was done poorly. So I know it's a whole season of television. We can't talk about the whole thing, but compared to season 2 had way better moments and way better storyline going up to the finale. But season 1, there's moments like Nynaeve dying, coming back to life, having several moments like that. Or the one that I just continue to laugh at, the Tinker scene. The Tinker
that
and
was
the White
hilarious.
Cloaks.
That was just poorly, poor music was added to that
The
scene.
music and the scene was weird. It's just the Tinker start crossing arms, and then the White Cloaks, these killers, the people that torture Perrin, look at them and just click, slap. It's just, the moment was just funny because it obviously does not happen in the books at all.
Yeah.
So, which doesn't have to be a bad thing. But season 1 was a downer for most people, including you.
Well, definitely. The best example for me is, I think season 1, there were so many moments and episodes where I felt like they just wasted time. Like, you have this big book to tell, a lot of stuff. You have no time to waste. You have to use every moment. And for season 1, when they had that whole episode dedicated to the warder killing himself, which is a brand new character, so you introduce him, you give him his whole backstory. It's the whole episode follows him, basically, and then he kills himself by the end. And never happened in the books, completely original character. Why? Like, you wasted a whole episode on an inconsequential character. Why'd you do that? There's spend that time with a main character, please.
I could see the writers thinking, okay, we want to show them how close a warder is to their Aes Sedai so that they could relate to. I'm agreeing with you, though. Yeah. I get you, but I could see the thought process behind that, because also think about this. Logain in the show, season 1 especially, has a significantly more presence than in the book 1. He's just like, see him once, right?
Which, personally, I like adding more Logain.
So adding more Logain was such an interesting choice where I went, okay, now, because you see the consequences and the cost of if Rand goes mad. It was cool to see, and it was interesting where they went. But again, the conclusion
of what they do with it.
The conclusion of what they do is what the problem was. But those thoughts aside, So let's talk season 2, episode 1 through 7, and what you liked, because you were on the Dusty Wheel.
Yeah.
And you talked with the Dusty Wheel, and we're pretty positive.
Yeah, generally, I had mostly positive things to say, and my hesitations or my reservations were kind of kept in check, going like, okay, well, let's see where it goes. Where I was questioning some decisions, but others I was down for. So I did not feel through episodes 1 through 7 any point where I'm like, oh, this is a waste of time.
Right.
Every moment felt necessary. He was pushing a character story along. It felt like it was building to something. And that's why I am so disappointed in the finale.
So episodes 1 through 7, then what were some strong points?
Oh,
Can we first talk Egwene?
yeah, let's talk some great positives on episodes 1 through 7. So first, right off the bat, Leandrin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, what a great improvement. In the books, no sympathy really for her character. She's just kind of the bad guy. In the show, I have a lot of sympathy for her. The actress did a great job. Wonderful.
That's one thing to note for season 1 and 2. I think the casting's great.
Yeah, casting's good.
casting's-
I maybe have like some nitpicks
Yeah.
of like Avienda for me just doesn't look quite right, but then again, we haven't had much for her to show, so reservations on that. But other than that, casting's really good.
Yeah. So with Red Aja, with Leandrin.
Leandrin.
Okay, with Leandrin, she... Red was falling. Her little stuffed animal was falling. He got a little nervous. So with Leandrin, acting's great. And also the more sympathy you can have with her son who's dying and dies. You can look at a dark friend, a Black Aja, and get a little bit more than you would from the books, which is just no sympathy.
Yeah, I mean there are some good sympathetic moments, but not specifically with Leandrin in the books.
Inktar, for example, in the books.
Inktar
which
was a great...
doesn't have that role in the show. So maybe they replaced that Inktar moment because it would have been too much to handle with what you could fit, and they kind of took Inktar's role and threw something at Leandrin.
This is something for the greater show, not specifically this season, but probably would have been nice to have in the books. Inktar is a good example. It's that first moment that we see a dark friend turn away from the shadow and back to the light and had his redemption. And it was a proof to show that just because they're a dark friend doesn't mean they're irredeemable. Right. They can come back to the light, which makes them less minions that like, oh, they're a dark friend, kill them all.
Just
like
cannon fodder, right?
Yeah, where it makes them real people and that you can win them back to your side. It makes them real. Where that lack of character in the show, it would have been good to have, but that's the tiniest of problems in the grand scheme of things.
But you liked Leandrin's changes.
I liked Leandrin's changes. One of the best aspects of the entire show was
Egwene, right?
Well, with the finale, the character that they have in Celine.
Oh, Celine,
and
okay.
The help me out hurts my head.
Wait, who are you thinking of?
Not
Lots of things
her
hurt your
name.
head. Celine.
The Forsaken's actual name. Her help hurt. Lanfear, thank you. Oh God, it hurt my head.
I feel like I'm the Wheel of Time expert.
I'm terrible with names. Everyone knows this, but
Listen,
Lanfear was great in the show.
Yeah.
Best part, in all honesty, for the whole show. Best edition, great stuff.
I would say the best for me was, if we're just talking episodes 1 through 7, was Egwene and the torture scenes.
Well, that had the best scene.
Yeah.
But
you're just talking best acting or
best overall change from the show. Like,
change
really
wise, I see what you
stepped
mean.
it up. Like Lanfear was a huge step up in the show compared to the books. I
will say I was so apathetic to season 1 when season 2 came around, and we saw those scenes with Egwene where she was getting tortured. I audibly was going like these. I was just kind of watching the show, but when she was getting tortured and with the water scene, I went, no. Don't do it, Egwene! And I found myself caring, and I went, "What is this? I don't want to feel this way because I'm just going to get hurt." And I did get hurt. So
that was the most powerful episode. I think episode 7, most powerful.
Was it episode 7 where she was getting tortured? It was 6 or 7. Right?
I think it was like between the two.
Right.
But yeah, that was the most powerful scene in the entire show.
Yeah.
Really felt for her, and I was very positive on the Dusty Wheel. Because what I was afraid of in this type of show and what Amazon and all these stupid Hollywood shows now do is, for some reason, they take a really good character, and normally it's a female character, and they don't give them actual flaws. They don't give them a low point moment,
which Egwene does have here. In episode 7.
You need a moment so in the books, and this is just an example. They don't have to do it this way, but they did it, and they did it poorly. In the books, Egwene is actually broken. This being collared and dehumanized to the point it devastates her and affects her later to come. It traumatizes her, and it's a moment of growth for her to rise from. And she needs to be saved. There's no hope. She is broken, and she has to be saved by Nynaeve. And it may also, in addition, being saved by Elaine and Nynaeve makes them closer together and really strengthens their bond. And it makes the friendship turn to more, sister-like relationship with Elaine actually real.
Then let's talk your first problem with episode 8 and the finale, and why. Let's get to the crux of why you were disappointed. So
the fact that they ruined that moment. Like, instead of giving Elaine and Nynaeve actually something to do, no, they make Elaine just save herself. And at that point, it really weakens that moment.
And it weakens the point of Nynaeve and Elaine being there. I get Elaine ends up healing Rand when he's hurt there, but their whole journey to go and save Egwene feels kind of useless.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things. And not just does Egwene overcome, like she beats what was her name? Now you got to help me. Or Rhaena, right?
Rhaena.
Beats Rhaena, but then after beating Rhaena, and we'll stay on this topic, but after beating Rhaena, stands up against Ishamael.
Ishamael. Oh my God.
The Forsaken. And she's a novice.
She's a novice. And she's a novice. One day, through her character growth,
there one day.
She will get there one day. But
I don't fear the Forsaken as much. Like, sure, there was a good 30-second clip at the end of the episode, trying to build up the next season. Mm-hmm. But how do you legitimately fear as much for these Forsaken when one novice is shielding up against Ishamael?
Yeah, and then Ishamael, oh God, there's a lot of problems with him. Like, he just kind of lets Rand's friends come around, and they're just kind of joining up. Then when Rand finally goes up, like, just walks casually up and stabs him, and he does nothing. God, that was a miserable moment. But let's stick to Egwene.
Okay, stick to Egwene. That character moment for her to be broken is huge.
So she takes not only important character moments from Nynaeve and Egwene in Elaine, that they lose their purpose for the entire season. Like, why the hell are they even there? Then takes the glory moment from Rand, where it's supposed to be Rand's big battle to reveal that he is the Dragon Reborn. So steals that from him. She gets the big battle with Ishamael. And then cheapens her character for her to have a moment to grow from. It's so short-sighted of the showrunner.
In future moments, you see Egwene looks back at her time being tortured and caged. Like, I will never go in chains again.
Yeah, no. Later on,
it should traumatize her, and her overcoming it lessens it enough to where it's like she got out of it.
It lessens the fear from that call.
Right. It should be so bad that you needed your friends to help you. There was no other way out. You were done for.
And to just make her like, oh, she's so strong, she can save herself. No, it just weakens the whole emotional impact.
So it hurts Egwene. It also hurts Nynaeve and Elaine, like you said, where I think the last episode cut back to Elaine and Nynaeve with that arrow in her leg.
Like 3 times.
So many times that like it just kept flashing back. And then Nynaeve, without taking the feathers.
The fletchings out,
just shoves it through.
It's little details, but think about it this way.
Yeah.
There's some stuff where they don't even, like, that's the big stuff that they did wrong. Mm-hmm. It's even the little details of what they could have done, and I felt they were setting up. With Nynaeve setting up the whole season, she should have been the one to heal Rand. She definitely should have been. Why? And when they keep cutting back to her and Elaine of basically them doing nothing 3 times when you cut back to them, and they're just kind of sitting there out in the open, you could have had a moment where a Nynaeve learns that it's rage and anger that is able to get through her block. And she's looking out over the whole battle scene, and she sees the White Cloaks and the Shan hurting the people. And then she looks back to Elaine and sees her friend hurt, and she gets this rage inside her, and then she connects to the one power. And she's able to, fight the Shan, and she's able to heal Elaine, and then she helps fight Ishamael and heals Rand. That could have been a great build-up moment for her, and she realizes her block. But they do nothing with it. That was set up for her to actually heal and learn how to do healing.
Nynaeve's just a non-factor.
She's a non-factor, and she's arguably my favorite character. It's between her and Rand is my favorite characters of the entire series. And they do nothing with her. Go down the list of characters. So one, in addition to all this, what Elaine takes is, why is Rand there? He pops in, pokes Ishamael, and then, I'm Dragon Reborn. There's nothing cool that he does in this entire season. What does he do? What does he do that's interesting at all? He's, messing around with Selene and goes on the run and then pops over like, I got to save Egwene. Oh, actually, no, you're good. I got to fight Ishamael. Oh, I guess you're kind of doing that. I'm shielded. I guess I'll poke him with my sword, I guess.
With the so Rich,
so lame.
Rich, I'm with you, and I was afraid to crap on Wheel of Time too much, but can I join you?
No,
this?
You can join me, please.
Can I join you a little bit and also bring up another point that bugged me?
Sure.
2 points actually, and this had to do with just the show making. So what you made very clear and a good point is that it doesn't have to be a completely faithful adaptation for you to like it, as long as it's good television.
Yeah.
So one thing that bugs me, some of the choreography, but specifically the troops and the battle itself. You know what was hilarious that you pointed out?
Oh God, there's so many laughing moments. Go ahead.
Viewers, please tell me if we're insane, because this is again why I can't believe, I kid you not, people are saying this is their favorite television episode ever of fantasy that they've seen. I don't want to call anybody. I've just been reading comments and I'm like, I'm just trying to understand. And comments tell us, like, if you loved it, what'd you love about it? Do you agree with our bad, like that it's a bad finale and whatnot? Just let us know, because Moraine and Lan are on the beach.
Yeah, several miles from the city.
Like, they're in the no man's land on the beach. I can't wrap my head around, like, where did those troops come from? Why? It's like, I get it, Lan's supposed to fight them off for a dramatic moment, but why were those troops placed there and just randomly on the beach? Like, were they getting a tan? Why?
They randomly, walk out and go, people, charge, attack
just from
them.
the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, think of the troop placement. And think of this as well. Think of this with Matt, and he has the horn. And he's going up onto the ramparts, turns the corner. There's just a line, an army on the ramparts protecting nothing. I guess they were invading, and then they were perfectly in line.
They're just on the ramparts, lined up, battle
just ready
formations.
For Matt to be there.
No one else around.
Nobody.
There's no White Cloaks around that area. They're not fighting. They're just standing in a line, waiting. And they see one guy, one vagabond walk out, and they go, charge! Like, why? This is stupid. It's a stupid setup. And you look at it and you ask your question. So let's get into that. Horn of Valere.
Okay.
I was talking to Austin about this on why the books did it so much better. And I just want to give my take on why it's such a letdown from the books. And I know, hey, it doesn't have to be the same as the books. I just want to compare and show, oh, this was cool, and the show did it not cool. The books, the White Cloaks are on one side, the Shan on the other, Matt, Perrin, and Rand basically together and going, caught between the two armies and going, oh crap, we're gonna die. Like, both sides want us dead. There's nothing we can do, and we can't save Egwene. Like, oh my God, we're all dead. And in a moment of desperation, Matt thinks to himself, the horn has to be there at the last battle, but why can't it be blown twice? Like, why can't I blow it now and then it can be blown at the last battle? There's no reason it can't. And so he blows the horn, and this tone, this pure tone goes through the army. Everyone hears it. It's a moment of calm, and a ghost army that wipes both other armies out of the question with heroes from legend, from all of history. And they come up to him. They acknowledge Rand. They look at Matt, go, the gambler, and they acknowledge all these heroes, and they think, oh, how do these heroes of legend know me? And it's a great moment to have there. And the Horn of Valere wipes the armies off the map, and sends the Shan back into the sea. And you go, oh yeah, we want that at the last battle.
Like,
that
this is the weapon to use against the dark.
This definitely will help. It has been hyped up for 2 books, and ooh, damn, does it do some cool stuff. And in the show, equally hyped up. It needs to be there at the last battle. It's the most important weapon. The Shadow could use it. And this big plot point, it's important. What do we get? The horn blows, and then it's the Horn of Alir versus what? 20 Shan soldiers, and then we're kind of done.
And is it just me? But the choreography of the fights. Who am I to say this? I'm just a television viewer. What do I know? But the choreography wasn't like, it's just
yeah.
I can't really say what's bad about it. I don't know. I'm not an analyst on that stuff, but it just wasn't super exciting.
It's also just confusing placement. So characters can have a conversation, no one's around, no enemies, and then when their conversation's done, then the enemy shows
right, like
up.
Matt's talking with Perrin, and then hope you can fight these guys. And what happened with that scene where the guy was trying to kill Perrin?
Oh yeah, no, you have the White Cloak just on top of Perrin, about to kill him. Hopper comes in, stops him, and they kill Hopper.
Yeah.
They go, oh, sad. And then the White Cloak gets up, is all good,
Just leaves Perrin alone.
and then looks at Perrin, and then just leaves. Why?
Like, he was trying to kill Perrin, right?
Yeah, he was trying to kill Perrin.
Am I misremembering that?
No, he just leaves, and Perrin's just kind of sitting there. No one's attacking. Then he goes on his rageful, which we get onto Perrin.
Oh God,
Poor setup. So okay, we got season 1 Perrin. Mm-hmm. What is his big moment and maybe his moment of self-reflection from season 1? He is struggling between man and beast. Will he become more? He's afraid of himself. In his rage, he killed his wife, and he's afraid of he's going to become more wolf-like. He's going to become less man. Yeah. And in his rage, when Egwene is being tortured, his eyes go yellow, and he kills a White Cloak, and he attacks, and he goes feral. It's like, okay. That's the thing he's afraid of. He's afraid of going feral and going wolf-like. Got it. And he attacks a White Cloak and kills the White Cloak and all. Okay. Season 2. What happens? He's getting fight, and he sees a friend, Hopper, get killed, and then he goes wild and feral, and then he kills a White Cloak.
So it's a repeat.
It's a repeat. Why? Why have it? Why do it twice and then do nothing with it? And there's no fear when he's attacking other people. He's battling. There's no fight with his psyche. It's just boring, and it's a repeat. It was lame. Why is he there? You got Matt. Let's go on to Matt. Matt sucked as well. But to be fair, Matt sucked in the books. So this was the one I was hoping for change. What?
I'm just letting you rant. I'm just gonna go off. This is nice to watch, though. This is good. Keep going.
So, forgetting books, honestly,
just look at was it a good story
from the show?
Was the
Matt?
Yeah.
I was actually interested after episode 7 because, like, oh, are they going to give Matt some like interesting decisions to make? Is there going to be a consequential decision that he makes that will jeopardize the relationship between his friends? Is it going to be a hard choice? What's going to happen here? Maybe he's going to be really tempted to the shadow. No. Just kind of cuts the lock, then fights and has a hug with instead of in his like tempted with rage and I just threw the spear to Shamael and it went through him because it was a trick, and then stabbed Rand by accident. Okay. So Matt had no character development. There's nothing he had to fight against. No hard decisions that he had to do.
Was it just me, or that moment when Matt stabbed Rand accidentally?
That was hilarious.
I laughed.
I did too.
I know they weren't trying to make us laugh.
I laughed.
But it was funny.
It was funny.
It's just he charges.
Also, okay, this is a Shamael's plan.
Yeah.
The whole thing is he is trying to turn Rand's friends to the shadow, and that will break Rand. And that's his whole thing. Like, hey, I was your friend, Lewis Theron, and I turned to the shadow. They have that opening in the beginning of episode 8 of talking between the two of them. And so that's why he goes to Matt. He's trying to turn Matt to the shadow, and he's tempting him with the knife. And that would be a conflict and a hurtful moment for Rand, that Matt, his friend, turned to the shadow and betrayed him. That's what he wants. Mm. And Instead, he gets, oh, Matt tried to kill Ishamael, but whoopsie daisy, hurts Rand. And Ishamael's like, haha, it was my plan. Like, there was a simple trick. And how does that break Rand's psyche at all? It's lame. It's just boring. That's the thing. Like, forget the books. That's just a lame plot point. Why couldn't you make it interesting? Or you get something interesting, and this is compared to the books. Why does Matt blow the horn? It's not to defend himself. It's to defend his friends. His friends they're all together, and there's moment of the low moment. They think they're all going to die, and he blows the horn to save his friends and ultimately rescue Egwene and all these things. Instead, Matt's just kind of by himself, and then's like, uh-oh, guys, I'm not going to take on 20 guys, and then blows the horn for himself. And it's way less cool. I would have loved, like, why can't they have Matt, why can't they have Matt with Perrin and Loyal, and then the Shan, and then the White Cloaks are there. Like, they're already did that part of the White Cloaks fighting Perrin and all this, and Matt in the center of it going, oh my god, we're on a war on two sides, and then he blows the horn. They could have basically done the same thing. It wouldn't have been much extra effort. You're already there. But you do the lame choice. Why? Why do they pick the lame choice every time? It's stupid.
You know, I've taken all your questions as rhetorical. I've loved this whole rant. This is fantastic, and I'm gonna say something to grind your gears even more. You ready for this?
Sure.
By the way, I subscribe to basically everything you said as well.
Yeah.
And you should also subscribe to this channel.
Yeah.
Hey.
If you also are negative about many things, go ahead, subscribe to hear more of us
More positive
complaining.
About books.
do
But
like
the thing is, episodes 1 to 7, we're promising.
Yeah, that's okay. This is why I'm most upset. It was promising.
That's coming from me. I don't love the book either, and I was
all the characters except maybe Rand, but like Rand was setting up.
Matt was kind of in the same place the whole time. I was like, what are they going to do with him?
But they didn't have much screen time with him. But they had that episode of, hey, he's seeing this dark side of his previous lives, or it may be a trick, maybe fork root, and then Ishamael going in the dreams things. That's my theory on it.
Okay,
but he was doing that, trying to tempt him to the shadow, and I was like, oh my god, they have that vision of Matt stabbing Rand and sitting over him, and okay, wow, maybe he does do that. He is tempted to the shadow and he hurts Rand, and then his redeeming moment is he blows the Horn of Valir for the light and redeems himself from the shadow and brings himself back. Maybe that would be cool. Him tempted between the light and the dark and hard decisions. Nope. No hard decisions made. Who had a difficult choice to make in this entire show?
Okay, here's what I got to do for you. While you're heated, I got to get more of this, Richard. This keep coming. Okay, ready? This is on. By the way, on the Dusty Wheel. That would be so curious to see you and him talking.
I want to go back. I'm gonna message him. I want to have my little rant.
I think the Dusty Wheel that they loved it. Apparently, the people that were on, I want to see you and them interact. That would be just very fun for me. This is what some top comments were saying, and here's one. This has like 22 likes. It's one of the top comments on their video. I won't put the person's name, but this is what they said. Never been this satisfied with an episode of TV ever. Just so many moments that hit so well. I totally get that some of the changes from the books are pretty out there, but I have zero issues buying into them. They work in the context of this amazing second season, and more of these characters are ringing true to the ones I know and love from 20 plus years of reading the books and over. Can't wait for Rand to come into his own. Can't wait for the next season. Thank the light. We'll have the Dusty. Then it goes on from there. But people, I'm just using this as an example. Say, I don't know, but people are saying this is an amazing episode of TV.
Look, okay. I'm solely connected. I'm judging this on internal, the show. It doesn't have to be faithful to the books. It doesn't have to be. But something they set up specifically for the show was Logain. Logain is going to be the one to train Rand, or at least teach him something at all, and to control his powers, because he's going wild. They didn't do any of that at all. What was Logain's actual ultimately, what did he do? He basically told Moraine that, oh, yeah, you're being shielded, and it's a tied-off weave. That's actually his purpose for the show. That's the most consequential thing. He didn't teach Rand anything. And yet, when Rand goes to Falm, he has enough control or power to just take out these guys. He doesn't get this cool fight scene, which makes sense because they don't show him learning how to use a sword. So it would make no sense that he goes up against a Blade Master. So, okay, he uses the one power. Fine. If that's the direction you want to do, that's the change you want, fine. Then you have to show something of him learning from Logain.
Just something about him having such control over the one power.
Yeah.
He's so precise, and he's so controlled with the power that you see none of the madness or none of the toll that you'd expect from the dragon, I guess, that we get in the books.
Well, we have the episodes preview where he can't control his powers at all. In the previous episodes of this season, that he sets the inn, Celine's inn, basically on fire in his sleep by accident because he can't control his powers at all. It doesn't work when he wants to, and it kind of just comes out in a big burst of rage. When he's talking with Logain and he's supposed to learn something, he gathers it all and he just can't. He has to release it. He can't control it. Almost hurts himself. And then he shows up to Falm and he has the precision and control to use it. Okay.
Now, let me ask you this. Given the benefit of the doubt, other people love this episode. What do you think was a positive of the finale? What do you think was something good that maybe you're being too harsh on if you were to look at this in a positive light against the dark?
Internal to the show, the conflict between Moraine and Land was handled competently. I get it. They set it up in the beginning. Moraine is pushing Land away. Why is she doing this? Because she is afraid of how uncertain she is and of her failures. And if she reconnects the bond with Lan, she would be forced to confront it and all this stuff. Fine. Get it. And they come to a good understanding between the two of them. Fine. Do I like the change of going, oh, I said that we're not equals because I believe that you are my better? No, that's not Moraine, but fine. It's its own show.
What do you think about the change with this whole season where Moraine loses her connection to the one power? Was that a good change? Was it a bad change, or was it neutral?
I'm neutral on it. I don't think they did too much with it, but it wasn't completely dropped. It wasn't just a dropped storyline where with Matt, it really was. They're setting up his conflict of maybe going to the shadow, and it felt like that was just dropped and inconsequential. With Nynaeve, of her learning to overcome her block and the direction toward healing and what she knows, and her accepting her power and like figuring out that it takes rage to channel. That was dropped completely. Why is she there? Elaine is kind of there, not much. Perrin, we got a repeat of season 1. Rand. What struggle is there? What decisions does he make? Anything interesting?
Well, this is just a depressing episode of Tutor Ramble.
It's sad because the setup was interesting. Like, I liked Shamael. The actor did a great job. I was intimidated. He's cool. There was he actually had plans going on, and it seemed intimidating. Lanfear was an improvement over the book. I really liked her. Her playing both sides. Cool beans. Liked that. The Lanfear improvement. God.
Are you excited for season 3?
No.
Okay, that was a stupid
this
question.
was it. This was their. This was their chance.
That was the worst question I could have possibly asked you.
If they fumble the bag this hard, there's no COVID excuse. There's no, oh, hey, characters, our actor for Matt left before filming was done.
Yeah.
None of that. This was just them heavily dropping the ball when they had such a good thing going. I can't imagine them doing better as season 3.
If you were the writer of the show and could do season 8 differently, what's the biggest change you would make?
Honestly, keep episodes 1 through 7 the same. Just deliver on the promises that they set up. So they set up with Nynaeve to actually learned something. Maybe her
It all
talent
comes down
with
to the
healing,
characters not fulfilling what they were
what
leading
they're set
to.
up.
Because
Give a
everybody
good
did
moment.
intertwine. You had all the characters come together.
Yeah.
And everybody did have their moments, but their moments didn't seem to line up with where the story was telling you it was going.
Yeah, so you could have had set up the moment of Matt. So they're setting up the whole show that Matt abandoned his friends. He abandoned them, and his conflict with that, and then also his conflict with the Shadow. How does he see himself? You deliver on him tempted with the Shadow, but then maybe he hurts Rand, but then he turns to the light and saves Perrin and Loyal and Rand and Egwene, all them with the Horn of Eldir. That would be a deliver on the promise. With Perrin, give him something to fight over, like him being scared of himself and fighting back, like not just a repeat of season 1. Like give some escalation there. With Egwene, you set it up perfectly of her actually having some real trauma to go through and some real PTSD
That was the
to
most
basically get
disappointing
over
thing for me.
in season 3. Like you can't think so short term of, oh, we need to have this big hero moment for Egwene at the end of the season. No, this is a multi-season show. This is her low point to rise from.
Hold on, you're onto something there. That might be the crux of the problem, is that maybe it felt, one, rushed, and two, they were trying to give a satisfaction of something that you shouldn't be getting for many, many seasons later.
Clearly, the showrunners think like their favorite character is Egwene because she's taking moments both in season 1 and season 2 from all the other characters and giving her all the cool glory moments, which she hasn't earned yet. She needs to have some actual struggle and hardship to overcome, stuff that she does fail. She needs to fail before she can succeed,
So
or
that
else
it
she's
does pay off.
uninteresting.
Right.
The fact that she goes through the hardest, most traumatic thing in her life in that torture scene, she acted her ass off. It was great. Great acting. And then she just overcame it herself? No.
Also, I have a question on the lore of this, okay?
Go ahead.
I could see the loophole of this, but think of Egwene's relationship with her Domani.
Yeah.
Do I have that right? That it's Domani and her Soul Dom. She's a Domani. Whichever.
Yeah.
Which one is it? She's the Domani.
She's the Domani.
That's the Soul Dom.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So she can't do anything to hurt her Soul Dom. And the whole thing about getting the water, she can't use. She's going to use the water as a weapon.
Well,
so she
in her
cannot-
head, she thinks that it's possible. That maybe she isn't even intending to use it right then, but she thinks it is capable that I could use this as a weapon to hurt
Right.
my soul down.
And that's why it stops her.
Exactly.
So then when she goes to take the collar and put it on her Soul Dom, wouldn't that use the same logic of she's intentionally putting that collar so that she can harm her Soul Dom? Because in her head, she's going, take collar, put it on Soul Dom so that I can mute her and then beat her ass and kill her. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think she's using that collar to be like, here you go, bye. Like, isn't it the same logic of how can you beat your Soul Dom if like the innate magic of how it's set up and how the viewer should expect it? That's how I read into it.
I agree with you. I think if I'm going to give it the biggest generous benefit of the doubt here, she was not using it as a weapon. She was just she's making it so that they're equal. It's no longer like she isn't technically hurting her with the collar. It doesn't cause her pain. It doesn't hurt her. But now when Egwene hurts her, they both feel the pain instead of just the one. And then she plays the game of chicken. She's choking her out, and it's choking her out. And basically, hey, either we both die or you release us. And she wins. And she's stronger. And
Okay, so
No.
the loophole of like it wasn't attacking her was making us equals.
yeah.
It's just a weird asterisk that you
Yeah,
have to
I don't
put on
think
it.
you should.
It's just not built up in a way that's like, oh, of course, that's how she gets out of it.
Here's the thing. It's a change. I don't particularly like the change, but if the change was interesting and led to a better result, cool.
Right.
It didn't. It led to a worse storytelling element.
I feel like too the reason that didn't happen in the books is because the magic system, the way the world's set up, is that you can't do that to your Soul Dom.
No.
That's why you are so.
That's why
is
it's
it looks-
terrifying.
It's why it's terrifying. It's why she has literally no way out. So to make a loophole to give her a way out, you had to kind of break the magic of it and break the logic of it in order to have a moment that wasn't there in the books.
Yeah.
And that's what it seems to be.
And here's, I guess, over the bigger points that we have, it's a nitpick that I've heard before and just wanted to explain that the best moments with Egwene and her capture, her soul dom, Rhaena, yeah, was the psychological moments where she saw Egwene as not even human, as a pet, and treated where the moment where she like, oh, I see how that the tree gives you hope and it brings you happiness, and then makes her burn it and rewards her. From the books, they go even further of like renames her, like, I don't like that name. We're gonna call you Thule, and treats her as a pet.
Hopefully,
and when a pet disobeys, you're not angry with her. You're not gonna beat her. It's like, I'm just really disappointed. They don't know better. That dehumanizing aspect is far more horrifying than just beating her, like physically hurting her. She doesn't need to do that. She could use the collar, just like how Nynaeve did. But yeah, think about like the plan that Nynaeve and Elaine have, where they take the collar, they the other Aes Sedai sacrificed her life so they could get the collar, and then they do it. They work their way in. They're like, okay, where is Egwene and all that? Oh, they're in the tower. Okay, and then they just get stopped by an arrow, and then they sit around. And why? Okay, that plan then just is pointless. Failed. Lame. That's the worst thing. It's lame. It doesn't have to be like the book. It just has to not be lame. Is there anything I'm missing from the characters or plot moments?
No, you got it covered.
Do I have any like gaps where like, oh, that was cool? Any other cool things that I missed?
You're preaching to the choir. Because as someone who was already, I'm not the biggest fan of The Great Hunt, and then watching the show, I'm already watching a show adapted of a book I don't particularly love. So this is your thing, and I'm the only thing I'm disappointed about is how disappointing it was to you. And I didn't go in with high expectations.
Yeah.
But I was genuinely impressed by episodes 1 through 7. I was like, okay, they're going in an interesting direction. The acting's phenomenal. And then again, the payoff was just not there for the reasons you stated.
Yeah.
And I think if other people disagree, if you really want to chew Richard out, not just in the comments, but to his face, you can join our exclusive Patreon on Discord, where we have a monthly book club where usually we like the books.
Generally we like
the books. But this was not our day.
No.
This was just not, Rich, I feel a little bad that you're ending on such a bad note. I feel like I should make you happy with something.
Don't worry. Right after this, I'm reading book 3.
I was going to say, we could keep talking after the pod to make you bring your spirits up.
Oh, that makes it worse. If you want to make my day better, I want to see you go into your room and then not come out for, give me 24 hours. I'd like that.
All right, my day's planned.
Your food will be delivered to your room.
Bye, everybody. I hope you enjoyed.